Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest tragedies in life is not failure. The greatest tragedy is remaining the same person year after year while carrying unlimited potential inside you. Many people are physically alive but have stopped growing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They are repeating the same thoughts, making the same decisions, and producing the same results. They are living beneath their possibilities. One of the most important truths you can understand in life is that growth always requires leaving something behind. Every new season demands a new version of you. You cannot continue thinking the same way, acting the same way, and seeing yourself the same way while expecting your life to move to a higher level. Progress and attachment to the old cannot live together for long. At some point, you must make a decision. Either protect your old identity or pursue your future. Many people want transformation, but they are emotionally attached to the person they have always been. They are attached to old habits, old fears, old routines, and even old labels that no longer fit them. They keep introducing themselves according to past experiences. They say, "I have always been this way," as though their history has the authority to determine their destiny. But your past is a reference point, not a permanent residence. It may explain where you came from, but it should never dictate where you're going. Think about a child learning to walk. The child must outgrow crawling. Crawling is useful for a season, but if the child remains on the floor, something has gone wrong with development. Walking requires balance, confidence, and a willingness to leave behind what once felt safe and comfortable. In the same way, there are attitudes and behaviors that may have served you during one season of your life, but can become limitations in the next season. Perhaps your old version was necessary when you were younger. Maybe being quiet protected you from conflict. Maybe avoiding risks kept you from disappointment. Maybe staying hidden prevented criticism. But what protected you in one season can imprison you in another. There comes a time when you must recognize that the strategies of your past cannot carry you into your future. Growth often feels uncomfortable because you are stepping away from what is familiar. Human beings naturally seek security. We like routines, predictable environments, and identities that people recognize. Yet every significant achievement requires a departure from familiarity. You cannot become an exceptional leader while clinging to the mindset of someone who doubts every decision. You cannot become financially disciplined while maintaining habits of carelessness. You cannot become emotionally mature while reacting to life the same way you did years ago. The future is constantly asking you a question. Are you willing to become someone different? This is why personal development is so important. Development is not merely acquiring information. It is becoming capable of carrying greater responsibility. Every level of success requires a corresponding level of maturity. The opportunities you desire often demand qualities you have not yet developed. The relationships you want may require patience, wisdom, and communication skills that your current version does not possess. The purpose you seek may demand courage and discipline that are still growing within you. Many people mistakenly believe that change happens automatically with time. It does not. Time only reveals who is willing to grow. A person can live for 20 years and still operate with the same fears, the same excuses, and the same mindset. Growth is intentional. It happens when you deliberately challenge your limitations and refuse to remain confined by who you used to be. There are moments in life when you will notice that certain environments no longer fit you. Conversations that once entertained you no longer satisfy you. Habits that once seemed harmless begin to feel restrictive. Dreams that once appeared impossible start awakening inside you. These moments are often signs that you are outgrowing your old identity. Do not ignore these signals. The discomfort you feel may actually be an invitation to evolve. It may be life reminding you that there is more within you than you have expressed. It may be evidence that your potential is stretching beyond your current identity. You must also understand that growth sometimes disappoints people who are accustomed to the old version of you. They may not understand your new priorities. They may resist your discipline or question your ambitions. People often become comfortable with our previous identities because those identities are predictable. But your assignment is not to remain predictable. Your assignment is to become everything you were created to be. You are not betraying your past by growing beyond it. You are honoring your potential. The person you were yesterday helped you survive certain seasons, overcome certain challenges, and learn valuable lessons. Appreciate that version of yourself. Be grateful for the journey, but do not build a permanent home in an identity that no longer serves your future. Your life was designed for continual expansion. You were created with the ability to learn, adapt, improve, and mature. There are gifts within you that have not yet fully emerged, and capacities within you that have not yet been developed. But these possibilities can only become reality if you are willing to release who you have been and embrace who you are becoming. Every day presents a choice. You can cling to the comfort of the familiar, or you can step forward into growth. One keeps you where you are. The other leads you toward the person you were always meant to become. Most people spend their lives measuring themselves by their current circumstances. They look at their bank account, their education, their family background, their failures, or the opinions of others, and conclude that this is all they can ever be. But one of the most important truths you can ever understand is that your potential is always greater than your present reality. Potential is the hidden ability within you. It is the unused strength, the undiscovered wisdom, and the unexplored possibilities that exist inside your life right now. Potential is not what you have done. It is what you still have the capacity to do. It is not your accomplishments, it is your possibilities. A seed is a powerful example of potential. If you hold a seed in your hand, it does not appear impressive. It seems small, ordinary, and insignificant. Yet hidden inside that tiny seed is an entire forest. Within it are branches that have not yet grown, fruit that has not yet appeared, and countless more seeds that do not yet exist. The seed's present condition does not reveal its future capacity. Human beings are the same way. What people see today is often only a fraction of who you can become. The person you are now is merely a snapshot, not the complete picture. Your present reality may look ordinary, but there are extraordinary possibilities hidden within you. The tragedy of life is not lacking potential. The tragedy is dying with your potential still trapped inside you. Many people never discover who they could become because they become prisoners of their current identity. They settle for what they are instead of pursuing what they can become. You must never allow your present circumstances to define your future possibilities. A difficult season does not determine your destiny. Financial struggles do not determine your destiny. Rejection does not determine your destiny. Failure does not determine your destiny. These are conditions. They are not conclusions. The danger of focusing only on your present reality is that it causes you to underestimate yourself. When people underestimate themselves, they stop growing, they stop learning, they stop dreaming, they stop taking risks, they become comfortable with less than they were created to achieve. Every person has untapped abilities. There are talents inside you that have not yet been developed. There is knowledge you have not yet acquired. There is wisdom you have not yet gained. There are opportunities you have not yet encountered. There are relationships you have not yet built, and places you have not yet reached. Never confuse your current performance with your ultimate potential. A student may struggle in school today and later become an outstanding leader. A person who lacks confidence today may one day speak before thousands. Someone with limited resources today may create opportunities that impact countless lives. Present reality is temporary. Potential is permanent until it is either developed or neglected. This is why growth requires vision. Vision gives you the ability to see beyond what currently exists. It allows you to recognize possibilities that are invisible to others. Great achievers often saw themselves differently long before anyone else believed in them. They refused to let their present limitations become permanent boundaries. You must learn to see yourself not merely as you are, but as you can become. Your future is hidden inside your willingness to develop your potential. Every day presents an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Every book you read expands your mind. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your character. Every lesson you learn increases your capacity. Every act of discipline moves you closer to the person you were meant to become. Potential demands responsibility. Having potential alone is not enough. A seed that is never planted cannot become a tree. A talent that is never developed cannot create value. An idea that is never acted upon remains only an idea. Potential becomes meaningful only when it is cultivated. You cannot become your best by accident. Growth is intentional. Development is intentional. Excellence is intentional. Many people are waiting for someone to come and transform their lives. They are waiting for perfect circumstances, ideal conditions, or extraordinary opportunities. Yet your greatest opportunity is already within you. It is your capacity to grow. You have abilities that can be improved. You have ideas that can be expanded. You have gifts that can be refined. You have qualities that can be strengthened. There is more inside you than you have expressed. Never become so comfortable with who you are that you stop pursuing who you can become. The moment you believe you have reached your limits, you stop discovering your possibilities. The moment you think your current reality is all there is, you begin living beneath your potential. Your present life may be real, but it is not final. Your circumstances may be visible, but your potential is greater than what can currently be seen. There is more wisdom in you than you have shared, more strength in you than you have demonstrated, and more greatness in you than you have experienced. The person you are today is not the finished product. You are still developing, still growing, and still becoming. Never judge your future by your present condition. The greatest chapters of your life may still be unwritten because your potential is always greater than your current reality. Transformation never begins on the outside. It begins on the inside, in the invisible world of thought. Every action you take, every decision you make, every relationship you build, and every goal you pursue is first shaped by the way you think. Your mind is like a control center that directs the course of your life. If your thinking remains the same, your life will continue to produce the same results. But the moment your thinking changes, the direction of your life begins to change. Many people desire a better future while holding on to an outdated mindset. They want greater success, but continue thinking like victims. They want peace, but continue feeding their minds with fear and negativity. They want growth, but refuse to challenge their old beliefs. This creates an internal conflict because your future can never become larger than your thinking. A person's life usually moves in the direction of their dominant thoughts. If you constantly think about limitations, you will live a limited life. If you continually focus on fear, you will make decisions based on fear. If you believe you are incapable, you will unconsciously avoid opportunities that could reveal your potential. Your beliefs eventually shape your behavior, and your behavior creates your reality. This is why transformation begins with renewing your mind. Renewal means replacing old patterns of thinking with new and better ones. It means questioning ideas that have kept you small. It means refusing to let past experiences become permanent definitions of who you are. Just because something happened to you does not mean it must control your future. Many people are prisoners, not because they are physically confined, but because their minds have accepted invisible limitations. Some have accepted the belief that they are too old to start again. Others believe they are not talented enough, educated enough, connected enough, or fortunate enough to achieve meaningful things. These beliefs become mental barriers that prevent growth. You cannot rise above the picture you hold of yourself. If you see yourself as weak, you will behave weakly. If you see yourself as insignificant, you will avoid responsibility and leadership. If you see yourself as incapable, you will hesitate every time opportunity knocks on your door. But when you begin to see yourself differently, your actions begin to change. The mind is like soil. Whatever is planted and consistently nurtured will eventually grow. If you continuously plant thoughts of doubt, resentment, and fear, those thoughts will produce corresponding results. However, if you intentionally fill your mind with knowledge, wisdom, possibility, and purpose, those thoughts will eventually shape a different life. Renewing your mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily process. Every day, you are either upgrading your thinking or allowing old patterns to dominate your life. Every conversation, every book you read, every environment you enter, and every idea you entertain is contributing to the development of your mind. This is why personal growth requires intentional learning. The person who stops learning eventually stops growing. Education is not merely collecting information. Education is the process of expanding your understanding of yourself, your abilities, and your possibilities. The more your mind expands, the more opportunities you are able to recognize and pursue. Consider the people who accomplish extraordinary things. They are not necessarily the most talented people in the world. Often they simply think differently. They view challenges as opportunities to learn. They see setbacks as temporary experiences rather than permanent defeats. They believe improvement is possible, and because they believe it, they keep growing. Your mind has tremendous creative power. It can either become a prison or a pathway to possibility. It can keep you trapped in yesterday's failures or lead you toward tomorrow's opportunities. The choice largely depends on what you allow yourself to think repeatedly. If you want to outgrow your old version, you must first outgrow your old thoughts. You cannot think like the person you used to be and become the person you desire to be. Every new season of life requires new thinking. Greater responsibility requires greater understanding. Bigger dreams require broader perspectives. Larger assignments require a stronger mindset. The transformation you seek is not waiting somewhere outside of you. It begins with renewing the way you think. The day your mind changes is the day your possibilities begin to expand. The day you stop agreeing with limiting beliefs is the day you start moving toward your potential. The life you desire is often connected to a mindset you have not yet fully embraced. Change your thinking, and you begin changing your decisions. Change your decisions, and you begin changing your habits. Change your habits, and you begin changing your destiny. The renewed mind becomes the birthplace of a renewed life. Most people misunderstand discomfort. They see it as a sign that something is wrong, when in reality it is often evidence that something is changing. Discomfort is not always an enemy. Many times it is a messenger announcing that growth is taking place. Every time you move beyond what is familiar, you experience tension. Every time you attempt something greater than your previous experience, you feel uncertainty. This is not weakness, it is expansion. Think about how growth works in every area of life. A child learning to walk falls repeatedly before finding balance. A student learning a new skill makes mistakes before becoming proficient. An athlete pushes muscles to exhaustion before becoming stronger. Growth always demands that you enter spaces where you are not yet comfortable. If you remain only where everything feels easy and predictable, you may preserve comfort, but you will sacrifice development. Many people pray for bigger opportunities, greater influence, and more meaningful lives. But they do not understand that these blessings often arrive disguised as uncomfortable experiences. A new responsibility can feel overwhelming. A promotion can bring pressure. Starting a business can produce anxiety. Learning a new skill can expose weaknesses. Stepping into leadership can create self-doubt. Yet all of these experiences are often evidence that you are moving into a larger version of yourself. The greatest enemy of potential is the desire to remain comfortable. Human beings naturally seek security and familiarity. We enjoy routines that make us feel in control. We prefer environments where we already know the rules and understand our capabilities. However, your future is rarely found inside familiar territory. Growth demands movement. It requires you to leave behind places, habits, and sometimes even identities that no longer serve your purpose. A seed is comfortable inside its shell, but if it remains there, it never becomes a tree. The shell that once protected it eventually becomes a limitation. In the same way, certain beliefs, relationships, and routines may have helped you during one season of life, but they can become barriers in another season. To grow, you must be willing to release what is familiar so you can embrace what is possible. There are moments in life when you feel restless. You may have outgrown your current way of thinking, but you have not yet fully developed the mindset required for the next stage. This in-between season can be uncomfortable. You no longer fit where you used to belong, yet you have not fully stepped into who you are becoming. Do not panic during these moments. They are often signs of transition. Transformation is never entirely comfortable because it requires change. Change challenges old assumptions and exposes limitations. It forces you to develop new habits and acquire new knowledge. It requires you to become a beginner again in areas where you once felt competent. This process can be humbling, but it is also necessary. Every significant achievement in history required someone to become comfortable with discomfort. The individual who masters a profession spends years learning and practicing. The entrepreneur faces uncertainty and setbacks. The leader accepts responsibility and criticism. The artist produces countless imperfect works before creating something exceptional. Behind every meaningful accomplishment is a season of stretching and difficulty. The mistake many people make is interpreting discomfort as a signal to retreat. The moment they feel challenged, they assume they have taken the wrong path. They return to familiar habits and familiar environments because they mistake comfort for peace. But comfort and growth rarely exist in the same place. Sometimes the discomfort you feel is proof that you are developing capacities you never knew you possessed. Consider your own life. The moments that changed you most were probably not the easiest seasons. The experiences that built your character often involved challenges, disappointments, and situations that demanded more from you than you thought you could give. Those moments stretched your thinking, increased your resilience, and revealed strengths that comfort never could. You should not seek unnecessary hardship, but neither should you fear the discomfort that accompanies progress. Welcome opportunities that challenge you. Accept assignments that require growth. Learn skills that initially make you feel inexperienced. Enter rooms that inspire you to become better. Allow yourself to be stretched. The discomfort you experience today may be preparing you for responsibilities you will carry tomorrow. It may be developing wisdom, patience, discipline, and confidence. One day, you may look back and realize that the season you wanted to escape was actually the season that expanded your capacity and transformed your life. Growth often whispers through discomfort. Expansion announces itself through stretching. Progress frequently arrives wearing the clothes of uncertainty. Instead of asking, "Why is this uncomfortable?" perhaps ask, "What is this discomfort teaching me? What new version of myself is emerging through this experience?" The answers to those questions may reveal that your discomfort is not a sign of failure at all. It is evidence that you are becoming more than you used to be. Many people desire a new level of success, influence, peace, and fulfillment, but very few understand that every new level demands a new version of themselves. Life does not simply hand you greater opportunities because you wish for them. It requires growth. Every stage of progress comes with responsibilities that your previous habits may not be able to sustain. If your character, discipline, and mindset do not expand, you may reach a higher level temporarily, but you will struggle to remain there. Think about a building. The higher the structure rises, the deeper and stronger the foundation must become. You cannot place 10 stories on a foundation designed for only 2. In the same way, your future cannot rest upon old patterns of thinking and behavior. The weight of greater opportunities requires greater maturity. The size of your destiny is directly connected to your willingness to develop yourself. Many people are in love with success, but resist discipline. They want extraordinary outcomes while maintaining ordinary habits. They want financial growth without learning financial management. They want healthy relationships without developing patience and communication. They want influence without improving their knowledge and character. Yet life operates according to principles. Every reward has requirements, and every new level has qualifications. Discipline is what prepares you for opportunities that have not yet arrived. The person who waits until the opportunity appears is often already behind. Preparation must happen in advance. You must become the person capable of carrying the future you desire before that future appears in your hands. Your habits are creating your tomorrow. Every decision you make today is constructing the person you will become. The books you read, the thoughts you entertain, the people you surround yourself with, and the routines you practice are all shaping your future. Success is rarely an event. It is usually the visible result of invisible disciplines repeated consistently over time. Many people underestimate small disciplines because the immediate results seem insignificant. Reading 10 pages of a good book may not seem life-changing today. Saving a small amount of money may not seem important today. Waking up an hour earlier to learn a new skill may not appear extraordinary today. But success compounds. Small disciplines practiced consistently eventually create massive transformations. A tree does not become strong in one day. It grows slowly, developing roots beneath the surface long before anyone notices its height. Likewise, your disciplines are developing roots within your character. People often celebrate visible success without understanding the invisible process that produced it. They see achievement but overlook preparation. They admire accomplishment but ignore consistency. You must understand that every new level will challenge your current habits. The routines that brought you this far may not be enough to take you further. There comes a moment when you must upgrade your thinking, increase your standards, and strengthen your disciplines. Growth demands adjustment. Perhaps the old version of you was comfortable wasting time, but the next version of you values every moment. Perhaps the old version of you avoided responsibility, but the next version embraces accountability. Perhaps the old version allowed fear to make decisions, but the next version chooses courage and action. Advancement requires change. The future you are praying for is also demanding something from you. It is demanding greater focus. It is demanding consistency. It is demanding better stewardship of your gifts and talents. The opportunities you seek are asking a question. Have you developed the habits necessary to sustain me? Many people lose valuable opportunities not because they lack talent, but because they lack discipline. Talent may open doors, but discipline keeps those doors open. Talent may attract attention, but character and responsibility determine longevity. Gifts can introduce you to great opportunities, but habits determine whether you flourish within them. This is why personal growth should become a lifelong commitment. Never become satisfied with your current level of knowledge, maturity, or effectiveness. Continue learning, continue improving, continue developing your character, continue strengthening your disciplines. Every investment you make in yourself today is preparing you for assignments you cannot yet see. Do not become discouraged by the process. The disciplines you practice today may seem small and unnoticed, but they are quietly building your future. Every act of self-control, every commitment to learning, every decision to remain consistent, and every effort to improve yourself is moving you closer to the person you were created to become. The next level of your life is not merely waiting for your arrival. It is waiting for your preparation. Become the person that your future requires. And when greater opportunities appear, you will not simply visit that new level. You will have developed the character, habits, and disciplines necessary to remain there and flourish. One of the greatest limitations a person can place upon himself is allowing his past to become his identity. Many people spend their entire lives introducing themselves by old experiences, old mistakes, old disappointments, and old labels. They walk into every new opportunity carrying an outdated version of themselves. They are physically in the present, but mentally they are still living in yesterday. Your past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. It is a classroom, not a prison. The purpose of your history is to teach you, not to define you. Every experience you have had contains lessons, but those experiences were never meant to become your permanent identity. A person who constantly identifies himself by his past eventually limits his future. If you keep saying, "I failed before," you begin to expect failure again. If you keep saying, "I have always been weak," you unconsciously train yourself to remain weak. If you keep saying, "I have never been good enough," you start behaving as though greatness belongs only to other people. The words you repeatedly speak about yourself become instructions to your mind. You must understand that your history and your destiny are not the same thing. Where you came from and where you are capable of going are two entirely different matters. Your beginnings do not determine your endings. Some of the most remarkable transformations in life occur when ordinary people refuse to be imprisoned by their previous versions. Consider a seed. If a seed could speak, imagine it saying, "I am only a seed." If it remained loyal to that identity, it would never become a tree. It would never produce fruit. It would never provide shade. The seed must outgrow its former condition. It must break open and embrace an entirely different level of existence. Likewise, you cannot become who you were created to be if you remain emotionally attached to who you used to be. Growth often requires saying goodbye to an old identity. It requires releasing old definitions and accepting that there is more inside you than you have yet expressed. Many people are introduced by others according to old information. They are remembered for who they were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even last year. Sometimes people become uncomfortable when you begin changing because your growth challenges the image they have of you. They expect you to remain the same because it makes them feel secure. However, you cannot allow the opinions of others to become the boundaries of your development. People may remember your mistakes, but you do not have to keep reliving them. People may remember your fears, but you do not have to continue operating from them. People may remember your failures, but your future is not obligated to repeat your history. The person you were yesterday brought you to this moment, but that person is not equipped to take you everywhere you are capable of going. Every new season demands a new version of you. Greater opportunities require greater thinking. Bigger responsibilities require stronger character. Higher levels of influence require deeper wisdom and greater discipline. You should never become so attached to your previous identity that you resist necessary change. There comes a time when you must stop introducing yourself by your wounds and start introducing yourself by your possibilities. Stop defining yourself by your disappointments and begin defining yourself by your potential. The most important question is not, who have I been? The most important question is, who am I becoming? The future always belongs to people who are willing to grow beyond their former limitations. You are not simply the sum of your previous experiences. You are a living, developing, expanding human being with untapped abilities and unrealized potential. There are ideas within you that have not yet been expressed, abilities that have not yet been developed, and capacities that have not yet been discovered. Never become a prisoner of an outdated self-image. The person you were served a purpose for that season of your life. Appreciate that person. Learn from that person. Thank that person. But do not remain that person. Your past may explain certain things about you, but it does not have the authority to dictate your future. The person you are becoming deserves more attention than the person you have been. Every day is an invitation to grow, to think differently, to develop new disciplines, and to step into greater dimensions of your potential. Do not spend your life introducing yourself by old chapters that have already ended. You are not merely a record of where you have been. You are a declaration of what is still possible. The most powerful version of yourself is not behind you. It is waiting ahead of you, calling you to become more than you have ever been before.